U.S. history. According to authorities, the Visa syndicate for years fooled millions of Americans by issuing convincing-looking credit cards carefully designed to dupe consumers into spending far more money than they had. Investigators believe the fraudulent corporation also lured victims in with
donkey balls
programs and free gifts, thereby trapping them in a spiral of debt they could never hope to
Yes,
reverse.
Justin.
According to the results of a study, 96% of humans would rather be a singing, dancing...
How come my lower third is always blurry?
The great majority of people on the planet
make
would
sure
prefer to
I don't
trade
see
in
you
their
have a
regular
lower third
lives
right
for
now,
one
but
in
if you
which
Not
do,
right now. I'm putting it on right now, but it always comes on blurry.
make sure your bandwidth is all the way up.
Respondents
Sometimes
also
that's the
stated
issue. You
that
can
not being
adjust
a
your
sentient
bandwidth.
human being
Oh, I was going to ask you how you do that, because I have a logo for Lehigh Valley Cop Block that's in high quality.
Here we go, guys. Cop Block Radio. Join us online at copblock.org/show. We've got a chat room there, plus video where you can watch and interact with other listeners. You can also listen at lrn.fm and check out all our past episodes at copblock.org/podcast. So, hey, I am Derek J. Across the inner tubes, we have
Dio.
And I am Severin from Lehigh Valley Cop Block.
Yeah. So we represent cop blockers from all around the world, and you can get interactive and call in, share your stories about police accountability. We've got tons to share with you this evening, some really exciting, fun ones, and some not-so-fun ones that are really sad, honestly. But, you know, we will get to those in just a moment. We've got the fun stuff first, so stay tuned. You can call in. Our number is 413-418-COPS. It's 413-418-2677. You can also Skype into the program. Cop Block Radio is our Skype username. Just send a user friend request there. We'll get connected, and then from there, it'll be easy to call in anytime, and you'll sound so lovely, like you're right in studio with us. So, right off the bat, I wanted to share with the audience something that Severin brought up last week, which was the story of the Allentown man who was brutally taken down for singing outside of a restaurant. Here's the story coming to us from the Morning Call. Take a listen to this.
They actually don't even talk about the singing man in the story.
Waiting for a bus on the steps of a corner store at 6th and Tillman Streets last summer when Allentown police officer Andrew Holvek approached him. Holvek was concerned that Vasquez was intoxicated to a degree that he was a danger to himself and others, the officer wrote in court papers, and began to ask him questions. Vasquez alleges in an excessive force lawsuit against Allentown and Holvek that what should have been a routine welfare check quickly escalated into a violent arrest that left Vasquez with psychological trauma and bruises and scrapes across his hands and face. This Allentown police surveillance video of the July 26 arrest, released by Vasquez's attorney Richard J. Orlowski, shows Holvek reacting as Vasquez reaches into his right pocket for a cigarette. Holvek grabs Vasquez by the wrist and then pulls him from the steps to the sidewalk behind a trash bin, which obscures the camera's view of all but Vasquez's right leg. Then, two unidentified police officers approach to assist Holvek in the arrest.
Stop resisting!
One of the officers bends over behind the trash bin and throws 3 punches towards Vasquez on the ground.
Wow.
With each punch, the unidentified officer's arm and elbow are seen popping up from behind the trash bin.
This guy's way too mellow for what's happening
5
on
officers in all responded to the scene.
Jesus Christ.
Vasquez, 28 of the 500
There's
block
5
of North
cops
Penn
on
Street,
this dude.
was
What did
treated
he
with
reach
his
for a
injuries,
cigarette?
including a black eye, fusions
Wow,
to the
how
left side of
dangerous.
his face. A Sacred
Talk about
Heart
protecting
Hospital.
a man from himself.
He pleaded guilty last month to disorderly conduct and was
They
sent
take that
Dude,
dose
he
of
pleaded guilty?
Allentown.
Why would he plead guilty?
charges.
Because they trump up their charges in that town, and they try to get you to plead to something so they don't get sued.
Yeah, he pled
Orlowski
to
said Tuesday
disorderly.
he posted the video to YouTube and Facebook in an effort to locate witnesses.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the guy's defense attorney probably talked him into it, too.
Yeah, seriously.
No, actually, Orlowski is he's the one that's representing the singing guy. He's representing 4 different people right now in lawsuits against Allentown.
So the
And-
same lawyer who's representing. I thought this was video of the singing guy. Sorry about that, but this is somebody else. He was reaching into his pocket. He was sitting on his stoop in Allentown.
Yeah. What's really significant about this story is finally, the mainstream media is saying perhaps there might be a problem in Allentown.
Yeah, I'll say. I mean, damn, you hear about stories like this all over the place, all the time. It happens everywhere, but not with the frequency that I'm hearing about Allentown. You'd think Allentown's like a big city or something. How many people in Allentown?
It's
Not
one
a
of the major cities in Pennsylvania. It's got a lot of history behind it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Billy
not
Joel wrote
New
a
York
song
City.
about
That's
it, man.
nonsense. You hear about as many stories as come out of New York City from Allentown. You think it's a quiet, sleepy vacation town or something, but their cops are out of control. So what do you attribute this? This is your hood, right?
This is what's happening in Allentown right now. Is you got a mayor that's indicted by the FBI that doesn't care, basically, that knows he's on his way out, knows he's on his way to a jail cell.
Indicted?
Yeah, he's brought up on charges by the FBI. They got taking bribes, pay to play.
The politician. I mean, is that?
Yeah. It's not real surprising, but what is messed up is this guy is checked out. He doesn't care what's happening in his own town. Then you got a city council that's pretty much the same way. They just know that their town is the laughing stock of the entire area because FBI just raided their city hall. Like they're just a joke. And now the police are just not being held accountable at all. The police chief is actually on his way out the door because of how bad it is there. He's not getting fired. He's leaving before he gets fired, basically. He's trying to run away.
All
So these cops are just plain and simple out of control.
Well, thank you for sharing what's going on in your hood. I want to share a video about what's going on in my hood. I just moved to San Francisco. Check out these cops talking in a donut shop.
Of all places, right?
Go figure that the cops are hanging out in donuts.
Yeah. Right.
All right, it's kind of hard to hear them, but you can see them.
What you want on video is the guy holding the gun still, going,
He's saying what you want on video is the guy holding the gun still pointed at you and being blown to bits. And here's how the other cop he's talking to responds.
still pointing at you, and not. And then
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to get that brain splatter all over you.
With his
Yeah.
head splattered all over the place. Isn't that funny? Boy, this is how the cops are talking about you. You know, the people they claim to serve and protect. This is my neighborhood. This is cops talking about me. You know, and I don't use violence to solve problems. That's what they do. I use a video camera to hold them accountable, and it looks like some local hero actually took video over his shoulder while he's sitting in the donut shop saying, hey, I don't think I like what these cops are talking about. I'm going to record these public servants while they're on duty. You know, they are wearing their uniform and badge, so they are claiming to be public servants, right? And this is how they talk about
I thought they were on duty 24/7 nowadays, ain't it?
I don't know. I never heard
I mean,
That's
how terrifying. Like, what if this wasn't... Obviously, the person sitting behind him had a little bit of intelligence to pull out a video camera. But what if this was just some regular mom and dad little family in San Francisco trying to take their kids out, and they're overhearing two cops that talking about blowing somebody away, and then every news station's going to talk about the war on cops.
Well, I gotta say, thank goodness for people who record the cops. You know, thank goodness for these people who are uploading videos and surreptitiously recording too. You think these cops would talk like that if they knew they were being recorded? I mean, good on this guy for being a little bit sneaky about it. I'm not saying to surreptitiously record everybody or people, but when they're public servants and they're operating on your dime without asking for your permission, and then they treat people this way, I mean, God, it's your responsibility to record and publish this stuff.
But
So,
don't forget, Derek, it's not their fault. Somebody altered that video, as all the cop lovers will tell you. Every video has been altered, and everything is... the cops are just the victims here.
Yeah, sure.
Big war on cops that killed 800 people since January.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I named this episode Cops Suck Donkey Balls, because because we're gonna talk. I mean, we've got a lot of videos of bad cops. Sometimes we talk about ways that you can push back. Also, what was the other thing? I wanted to talk about how you can confront cops without getting your ass kicked. And there's a lot of people who do it pretty well. Coming up, we're going to talk about painting cops all with the same broad brush. Pete Eyre, how I notified a cop's neighbor of his misconduct. Stop a douchebag in Russia confronts Russian police. That video is hilarious and coming up soon. Oklahoma police likely to execute an innocent man. Got the story from Reason.com. Plus a history of good cop, bad cop tactics. And finally, stop being an enabler for a cop in the family. Do you have a cop in your family? Are you friends with someone who's a cop? We'll talk about all that and more. Cop Block Radio.
If you have a business, you know that IT can be frustrating. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, really, how does that make you feel knowing that you live in San Francisco and those two guys are still
Not
on the
good.
force, probably?
Not good, man. I don't like that. Because I'm thinking about, like, I'm going to be video recording these guys, and what I want to do in my neighborhood, now that I've moved here, I'm so comfortable with the Keene police. Like, they're used to me filming them. I'm used to being behind the camera. We have a frenemy relationship. Here in California, none of the cops know me, and it's so much bigger that it's unlikely that we'll ever have the same kind of relationship that I had in Keene. So what I'm thinking is creating sort of like a Cop Block chapter in San Francisco where one of our main regular goals is not just going to be to do video recording the police, which is totally important, but relationship building. Like breakfast with a cop is what I'm thinking. We go to McDonald's down the street on Haight Street where all the hippies hang out, and we start a thing. I see the cops there all the time. They're grabbing breakfast, and I've gotten coffee there a couple of times, so why not have breakfast and a coffee with some cops? I'm not buying them breakfast or anything, but at least we can start to open that, open those relationships so that it's not just like them versus us. I want to be on a first name basis with some of the people who are patrolling my streets, so I can say, hey, there's no problem here. Why don't you leave them alone, Joe? Or and use their first name, and they would know me. So I think they're a little less likely to shoot me if they know that I'm going to be video recording.
They know you're there, dude.
Nah, they don't know.
They got the memo.
Yeah. Who just joined us?
I don't
Hey!
No, and Brian.
Ah, what's going on?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Good. I waited to play the Mac video,
Word.
so maybe I'll play that one once we come back.
Your video's not on it, Demo.
Got 2 minutes.
Sounds cool.
Your video is kind of on, but it looks a little bit frozen. You got you connected to some Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't see any video right now.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Click the little video tab.
I did. Now it's off. Now it's on.
I got none.
There it is.
Now it's on.
But I don't see it in my box.
There you go.
Yeah, I said my box.
You got a box?
I knew it. See?
Sorry, we got.
This is a very sexual show. We're talking very openly about this kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Well, Derek was just talking about the porn picture he put up for our last week's radio show.
It's true, Ademo. I got a picture of someone licking a boot from a porn website. Just said it was a copsucker. Hey, Brian, how you doing? Good to see you.
Well, Derek, how are you, man?
I'm good. I've been thinking about you a lot since I've been in your hood.
Oh, yeah? I'm flattered.
Although, as soon as I arrived, you left.
I know.